done. It starts to get hot. Last part of that stretching and mobility routine, I'm going to do some dead hangs, and I'm also going to do a little bit of rotator cuffs at the cables. Donkey, that will do. Today is the 13th of October. I am currently still in Spain. The gym that I'm training at is called Oxygen, and it's the biggest one in the area. It's an amazing gym, honestly. Best equipment. They also have an outdoor section, which is lovely, especially when it's pretty hot all year round, like here. I'm going to explain you what I'm currently doing with my training because, as you know, I am still recovering from my neck injury. At the moment, I'm doing 4 days on, 1 day off. I've got 2 lower body sessions and I've got 2 upper body sessions, and I'm alternating. So I'm doing lower body one day, then the following day I'm doing upper, then I'm doing lower again, then I'm doing upper again. Lower body sessions, I've got 2 different sessions. One is a little bit more quads focused, the other one is a little bit more posterior chain focused. And my upper body sessions, they are the same. With the upper body at the moment, it's more so rehab based. Every single session I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more exercises. It hasn't been a long time since I've started training upper again, so at the moment it's all about trial and errors, seeing what my neck can handle pain wise, trying to find the right balance between chasing some sort of intensity without going too hard, which would then lead to more inflammation and more pain. So there's no need for me to push too hard to the point where I'll be in so much pain that I won't be able to train for the next few days / weeks, because this is how it works at the moment with my injury. It's all about managing the inflammation. So I've got the green light from my physio to start training upper again. There are some movements that I'm definitely not allowed to perform at all, such as shoulder press. Not allowed to do any bench press either, but that's fine because I'm not training chest anyways. But just being able to get back into training upper, I'm starting to do some lat pull downs again, some seated rows, very, very, very light weights, but just being able to feel these muscles working again feels unbelievable. The biggest issue for me is to know when to stop. So I'm really trying to learn to tune in with my body and to be gentle, ease into it, do the right things that are going to be beneficial on the long run for me and my injury, without going too hard and ending up being in pain. My day off is not really a day off. I know that for many people, a day off means a day outside of the gym, which I understand. It's good as well to have a break from the gym so you can switch off. Then when you come back, you're more pumped to be in that environment again. For me, I think it's different because this is my job and bodybuilding is a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby. So the gym is my favorite place. This is where I feel the best. It's also what's helping me mentally, especially now that I'm injured. As you know, I've been through a very dark phase of my life because I was not able to train. So for me, being in the gym 7 days a week is not an issue. During that rest day, this is also when I'm doing some cardio, so steady state. Nothing too crazy, because the goal at the moment for me is to prioritize my recovery, meaning that with my nutrition, I'm at my maintenance. I don't have any goal of losing fat. It's more of a body recomp goal, but this is actually not the main goal. It's more so because I had a 3-month break completely off of the gym, where obviously my body composition has changed a lot, and just by being back in the gym, having a plan, being consistent with my workouts, training with intensity, you can go really hard with the legs, upper body. I'm still trying to put some sort of intensity and some exercises I can. So by doing that and by looking after my nutrition, even though I'm staying around my maintenance, I'm still having some progress. My composition is improving and I can definitely see it. This is great. This is a byproduct of what I'm currently doing, but I don't have any aesthetics goal per se at the moment. So during that rest day, I'm doing half an hour of cardio, trying to stay between 130 and 140 beats per minute. It is important, even if it's just once or twice a week, for the cardiovascular health. And this is not something that I mind doing. I keep myself busy. I use this time to edit my reels, and this is why you'll never see me on a Stairmaster or a cross trainer, because I don't think I'll be able to multitask. So yeah, rest day, cardio, stretching, mobility. The main goal down the road is still to work towards my pro shows. And as you know, I'm a pro in the fitness category, which means that I do have some mandatory moves to do on stage, which requires some sort of flexibility and mobility overall, because mobility is essential. Some people meditate. For me, this is my meditation. The reason why I'm also at the gym every single day is because this is my me time. Put my phone on silence. I do not reply to anyone. And this is also why I'm usually training on my own. This is the moment where I switch off, where I recharge my batteries, because then for the rest of the day, I'm on my phone, I'm replying to clients, I'm sharing content, I'm surrounded with people. I'm quite of an introvert, but I also like to have my time where I socialize. So for me, the gym is my me time. This is a very important time. And if I don't have that time alone, then I will be grumpy ass for the rest of the day. And trust me, I am not nice when I'm like that. Another topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys is how to stay on track during holidays. Obviously, I'm currently in Spain, and as I mentioned before, I am still tracking my nutrition. I am eating around my maintenance at the moment, which is a little bit lower than what it used to be last year. But obviously a lot of things have changed since last year. I've lost a lot of muscle mass. So the more muscles you have, the higher your maintenance is. Last year, around the same time of the year, my maintenance would be around 2,600. Now my maintenance is around 2,000, but it's fine. I know that with the muscle memory and me being back into training, I am going to get back to where I was, but this is going to take time. So my current maintenance is around 2,000 calories. This is what I have calculated for myself, because I'm currently not with any coach. I am going to work with a new coach in January, but you will find out in January who that person is. I've done the consult with him a couple of months ago already, and we've discussed that it would be better to start once that my back is healed. So in the meantime, I am doing my own programs, I am doing my own nutrition. Why am I not in a slight calorie deficit to lose a bit of fat? Well, because I need to keep the food quite high in order to help my back to recover. Recovering from an injury is a stress on its own, and dieting is a stress as well. So I don't want to give more work for my body at the moment, because the injury that I'm recovering from is pretty bad. So I want to be in the most optimal spot for my back to recover. So how can I stick to my calories when I'm on holidays? Many people are in that mindset where when they're on holidays, they just want to enjoy, and that's fair enough. When you're a bodybuilder, it's different, because you're working towards a specific goal. So you are working every single day of the year towards that goal. You want to jump on stage knowing that you have given your best. And for bodybuilders in general, being on track is something that we enjoy. We're not even dieting, this is just the lifestyle that we have. Now, I am on holidays and I'm aware that I need to use this time in order to lower my stress, to relax, and this also means enjoying a little bit more food. I'm definitely not going to stick to a specific meal plan and refuse to eat all the lovely food that we have here in Spain. So what I'm doing, I am eating out once a day, whether that's lunch, breakfast or dinner, meaning that I'm still tracking the rest of the day. Now, if you know me, I am a creature of habits. I don't mind eating the exact same food every single day. Once that I find a meal plan that suits my macros, suits my calories, and that I enjoy eating, then I can stick to that. Now, since I'm here, it's been more than a week, it's been 10 days. I've been eating out pretty much every single day, most of the time for dinner. Yesterday I went out for lunch, but usually I'm always having the same breakfast, which is my pre-workout as well, because I like to train first thing in the morning. Here in Spain, the gyms only open at 8, which is quite late for me. In Australia, I would train around 6. When I wake up in the morning, I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but I do feel like a little bit, I don't know, a little bit sick. I just don't really want to eat, so I force myself to. And most of the time I'm making myself a yogurt bowl. I put either some sort of skyr, which is just like a plain yogurt that also has protein inside, and some fruits with a mix of whatever I fancy having when I go to the shops. So that can be bananas, that can be strawberries, that can be peaches, that can be different types of fruits together. And this obviously I'm tracking to the T. Then when I'm training, I'm having my damage control, which is a mix of EAA blend that has electrolytes, a bit of protein and a bit of carbs, and this helps me to get through my session without having a crash in energy. Then after my session, this is when I'm going to have my post-workout, and most of the time I'm having oats because it's just convenient. And since I'm in Spain, I'm on the go. So as soon as I finish my session, usually I go home, I prepare my oats. I often share my fluffy oats on Instagram, and I've had a bunch of requests, people messaging me saying, can we have the recipe? It's literally the easiest thing to prepare, but I'm going to record it and add it in that video so you can have the recipe for yourself. But yeah, usually my lunch or post-workout is something that is convenient to carry because I'm having my lunch at the beach or by the pool. My goal is to enjoy my holidays, so I'm not going to spend too much time cooking. Then for my meal number 3, which is a snack, this is where I'm trying to keep the calories quite low because, as I mentioned, I'm at my maintenance, which is 2,000 calories, and it's not much for me. So I'm trying to eat less for my meal 3 and just have some sort of protein. So most of the time my meal number 3 would be a protein shake, or here in Spain they've got these, it's like coffees that have protein inside, which is just perfect because I love to have caffeine in the afternoon as well. Yeah, I forgot to mention, but I'm also having a Monster when I wake up in the morning. Monster or any other energy drink, but this is a sugar-free one. And then the rest of my calories would be for dinner, which usually I manage to keep around 1,000 calories. So my calories for dinner are literally half of my day. With my macros, I'm roughly trying to target between 140 and 150 grams of protein per day. Fats, I'm trying to be around 50 grams, and the carbs is basically the rest. It does not have to be these specific macros to the T. The most important numbers for me are definitely the protein and the fats, and this allows me to eat pretty much whatever I want for dinner. Now, the good thing about Spain is that they do have really, really good food, such as grilled fish, grilled meat, grilled vegetables, and I'm a pretty basic eater in the way that I really, really enjoy whole foods. So having a good piece of fish, a good piece of meat, some fresh vegetables, like a big salad, makes me really, really happy. And I always ask the dressing on the side so I can measure, or I can put a little bit less dressing, because usually they do put quite a lot of dressing and it's often unnecessary. And yeah, sometimes I do enjoy as well having a paella, a pizza or pasta. I had really, really good pasta 2 days ago actually. Some carbonara. I'll add a video to show you. Even if it means that I would end up slightly above my calories, not the end of the world, but with this strategy I pretty much can allow myself to have whatever I fancy for dinner. And that's about it. This is how I manage my nutrition here on holidays. Yesterday I went out for lunch. I had half chicken for lunch because I was craving some meat. I had the same meal 1, meal 3, and then my meal 4 was my meal 2. So I just swapped, and I had for dinner my oats with my egg whites. So when I go out to the restaurant, I don't really track because I know that I'm somehow close to my goal. And if I fancy having a pastry or something different for breakfast, which happens sometimes, then I would just eat a little bit less carbs for dinner. But I always track in advance, which allows me to finish my day being as close as possible from my calories and macros targets. And because I'm only human, sometimes I end up being a little bit over, but because I am not prepping, it's currently off season, even though I'm not in a caloric surplus. This is also a time of the year for me where I am less strict with my food. If I end up being over my calories, well, I'm not going to make myself sick for that. It's fine, it's not the end of the world. Nothing crazy is going to happen. So yeah, I'm really trying to be gentle in regards to the nutrition, and I have to say that I'm actually really proud of myself for how I'm handling my nutrition being on holidays, because I've struggled with eating disorders for 10 years, maybe even more than that, and going to the restaurant was always something very daunting for me. Being younger, I would basically starve myself the whole day. If I knew that I was going to go to the restaurant at night, then I would just not eat for the rest of the day, or I would have some strategies where I would budget my calories during the week in order to save a crazy amount of calories for that specific dinner that I was going to have. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad strategy, I'm just saying that I was going too hard. Like, I would be in a deficit all week in order to have, I don't know, like 3,000 calories for dinner, or even sometimes more. Now, every single day, I basically restart. So if at the end of the day, I end up being in a surplus, the day after, I'm not going to make up for it. Now, if your goal is fat loss, different story, then I would definitely use these kind of strategies to budget with your calories, whether that's throughout your week, which is what I'm doing with my clients with flexible dieting and the usage of a tracker, where I would highly recommend you to save calories throughout the week in order to have more calories to spend during the weekend if you do have one night where you are going to the restaurant. But in my case, it's completely different because I do not have a fat loss goal. So being over my calories at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing. And I'm on holidays for 2 weeks. So I know that when I'll be back in France, because after my trip in Spain, I will stay in France for a little while to see some more specialists and look after my health before flying back to Australia. I know that me being back in France, I will be on track 100% again. I hope it helped. So I will talk to you guys later when I am making my oats. Bye. Alright, so back from the gym, back from the shops, I did some groceries, and now I'm going to do my post-workout. For the Cloudy oats, I'm going to need some oats and egg whites. Egg whites here in Spain are so cheap. For that whole bottle, it was less than €3, which would be maybe like $5 Australian. And this is 1 liter. In Australia, for reference, I get my egg whites from the frozen section at Woolies, and they cost $11, which would be €8. Spain is very cheap when it comes to food. To start with, I am going to pour 50 grams of oats in one bowl. Then I'm gonna add some water, stir it, put it in the microwave for 3-4 minutes-ish, but it depends. Sometimes I might add a little bit more time depending on if it's the consistency that I desire to have. I'm using quite a big bowl because with the egg whites, it is going to get much bigger, and if you take a smaller bowl, then chances are that everything is going to overflow and you're going to have all the oats in the microwave. It has happened to me in the past, this is not funny. So always grab a big-ish bowl. 50 grams. I don't know how much water that is. I'm usually putting a decent amount. I'll show you what it looks like after the microwave. And this is just with water, so no egg whites for now. Make sure that you stir it enough. And now I'll put it in the microwave for 3-4 minutes. See if it's enough. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare my fruits. I'm quite lazy today. I did not feel like buying a rock melon or slicing some fruits myself, so I just got some peach in syrup. I love peach in syrup. If I'm prepping, I would not drink the juice, but I'm not prepping, so of course I'm drinking the juice, and it's actually the best part. It's like a treat. That's what I'm doing when I get fruits in syrup. Open the can. You open it just a little bit, like that, not too big so the fruits can't fall out. Grab a mug and you leave it like this, and then you move on to something else, and in a couple of minutes you'll have all the juice ready to drink. I'm also going to have my creatine now. Usually I have it in my shake that I'm drinking when I train, because this morning I didn't train. I'm not having intro workout when I just do cardio and stretching. That's just monohydrate creatine. Got it in a little bag because I wasn't going to bring my big container here. I'm having 5 grams. Perfect. Bit of water, not too much because I hate the taste of water, so I'd rather get it down as fast as possible. Make sure you rinse it well. Make sure you don't spill it all over yourself. Oof. My juice is now ready. That makes me so happy. Yum. That's honestly the best part, and you can't change my mind. As I mentioned before, if I'm prepping for a show and I've got some pineapples or some beetroots that I get from the can, I wouldn't drink the juice because there are obviously calories in the juice, and when you're prepping you have to be 100%. We need a bowl for the fruits. $240 grams. Bro. Okay, let's see with the oats. The consistency now is perfect. This is how it has to be. I'm gonna try to show you without burning my hands. As you can see, it's still a little bit liquid, semi-liquid-ish, like a paste. You don't want to make it too cakey before putting the egg whites. Otherwise, when you are going to add the egg whites, it's not going to mix really well. It's not going to be ideal. Now I'm adding the egg whites. So 200 milliliters. 3. Stir. Obviously it's even more liquid now. It's liquid, but the egg whites is now really well mixed with the water. Now I'm going to add it in the microwave again for 3-4 minutes again. And when you do that, make sure that you stay next to the microwave, because of the egg whites, chances are that it is going to overflow. So stay next to it if you don't want to end up with a huge mess. 3-4 minutes again. And you stick around. I'm gonna have a couple of yogurts with that. Unsure which ones I'm gonna have. Option number 1, we've got some stracciatella yogurts from Danone, or we've got some flan. I'm not sure how you say this in English, but if you're French, it tastes exactly like flamby. And you've got caramel at the bottom, but these ones obviously are the protein version, and they are so yummy. What am I gonna go for? I can't make a decision, so I'm just gonna go for one of each. And these ones are around 51 calories, 10 grams of protein. These ones are 62 calories, 10 grams of protein as well. So 20 grams of protein for 2 yogurts. And I also have the 200 milliliters of egg whites in the oats, which will be around, I think it's around 40 grams of proteins for the whole thing. Yeah, 40 grams. I'm just tracking now for the rest of my day, but it's pretty quick because I often eat the same thing. It's just slight changes, like if I have a different sort of monster or if I eat 2 different yogurts. Look, I didn't even check. That could have ended up really, really bad. It's not quite ready yet, so just a couple more minutes. The rest of my day is tracked, so perfect. So far, without the protein shake that I'm going to have this afternoon, I've got 1,200 calories left. Heaps of calories left for dinner, which is great because I'm going out tonight. It's like a Mediterranean restaurant. So, remember when I said stay next to your oats because otherwise it's going to overflow? There you go, I've just made the mistake. Girl cannot multitask. It's not too bad. I think I can still fix it. Gosh, no. Also be careful because it's really, really hot. That is what it's looking like after the microwave. So as you can see, it's still a little bit jiggly, but let it cool down for 15 to 20 minutes and then I'll record it again to show you the final consistency. And we're back 20 minutes later, so it's close to lunchtime now. I'm going to pack and I will eat my lunch by the pool so I can relax, enjoy for a couple of hours before I come back to do some admin. I really struggle to work by the pool. Unsure how some people can do that. I don't know, I just can't focus. It's way too bright for me to look at the screen. So I'm having 2 hours outside in the sun. It's more than enough anyways. Then I'll be more productive coming back here. Or I might go in a cafe, but I need to be inside in a work-friendly environment. Anyways, let me show you what it looks like once that it's cooled down. So see the texture now? It's more like a cake. It's still a little bit jiggly. It's still warm. Like if I touch at the bottom now, it's really hot still. The more you wait, the more cakey it will be. But this is 50 grams of oats. Especially when you're dieting, you are trying to have volume in order to keep you fuller for longer, and it also takes longer to eat. And on top of that, many people use a scoop of protein powder to pour into their porridge in order to add extra protein, but a scoop of protein powder has calories. So to me, it is a waste of calories to add powder in oats, knowing the fact that I can reach my protein goals by adding egg whites, which will also create more volume and make my lunch bigger, if that makes sense, and just yummier overall. This is just a little hack, you know, if you're dieting and your meal plan only has, I don't know, 30 grams or 40 or 50 grams of oats, which to me is not a lot because I can eat 100 grams of oats easily. Some people add zucchini as well. I've actually never tried, but with the egg whites, it's just a little hack to create more volume and to hit your protein targets as well. Save that hack. It takes about 10 minutes to make, and then you obviously have to let it cool down because otherwise you can't eat it boiling hot. So overall, the preparation I'd say is around half an hour. The pool is literally next to my apartment, so I put it like that inside, and then I pack this in a little bag and we're good to go. Something I forgot to mention, I'm also going to pack some stevia and some salt. Stevia either like this or like that. This one is a little bit more convenient when I'm at the beach or anything like that. Usually I would add a sprinkle of cinnamon as well, but I didn't buy any. And I'm using the salt on the oats. I know it sounds really, really weird, but if you've never tried, try it for yourself. Even on your cream of rice, it makes it so much better. Obviously, don't overdo it, otherwise it's going to be gross. But a little bit of stevia, just a pinch of salt, and thank me later. And I am going in the sun, so don't forget your water. Stay hydrated, peeps. Really important. I'm going to put my bikini on, some sunscreen, and I'm going to go by the pool and chill out. If you want more recipes like that or more hacks, if you have different topics, ideas, feel free to message me on Instagram or to add a comment under that video, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Bye peeps, have a nice day, see you guys soon.